believe are one with way beyond 80%, but Uganda is a military dictatorship, and General Museveni was been in power for 37 years, put me under house arrest, killed a few hundreds of my supporters, rounded up and imprisoned everybody on my campaign team, and as we speak, more than half of them are still in prison. However, that's for another day. I'm here to speak as an artist. I'm originally an artist. I'm not originally a politician. And even up to now, I really hesitate to introduce myself as a politician. I'm an artist, and now that we're discussing hip-hop, I am not sure if I will straightforward classify my genre as hip-hop. However, it has been largely believed that all grassroots music, all ghetto music, all downtrodden music is classified as hip-hop. I am a blend of hip-hop, of dancehall, of Afrobeat, of soukous, and any kind of music. So I am here to discover the name for my genre of music. I started out as an artist, and I am one of the most known artists in East Africa, and to some extent in Africa. I've been an artist for more than 20 years. I started out as a young man, and some 10 years ago, when I was at the peak of my career, like any other ghetto artist, art is always, the way out for, ghetto people here in America, in the Caribbean, and in Africa. So, picking inspiration from people like Tupac Shakur, people like Buju Banton, people like Bob Marley, I got into music. Initially, I got into music not just to be rich, not just to be known, but because I had something to say. I wanted to represent my community, my, fellow ghetto people, so I ventured into music. And in 2005, I was at the peak of my art. My music was generally about the girls and the money and the party and the weed and the drinks and everything. However, in 2005, like I said, when I was at the peak of my craft, something happened that was to transform my thinking. I was the first artist in Eastern Africa to drive a Cadillac Escalade. And the time, the train was spinning wheels. So like I said, because I was at the height of my career, I bought a very big Cadillac Escalade with 24-inch spinning wheels. And I parked it on a nightclub outside. But because in the country where we live, it is those that are close to power that have the right to do anything. I was moving and swagging and feeling like the man. And all girls were looking at me. I was the guy that night. I did not know that one of the young men that was watching me did not like that. So this guy comes to my car, pulls me out and slaps me. I'm a boxer. So I got out of my car to show this guy and teach him a lesson of his life. So he pulled out a pistol and put it on my head and slapped me some more. So I changed the idea from fighting him physically to fighting verbally. I asked, man, why are you beating me? What have I done to you? And this is what he asked me. Why are you showing off? Don't you know this country has owners? Slapped me some more, and he took the security of the club, not to save me, but to plead with him. He said, Afande means officer. He said, officer, please forgive him. He did not know that the bosses were here. The guy forgave me and let me go. I felt so bad. And as I drove back home, I remembered that this had actually been happening to so many people. As a star back home, I had closeness, I had proximity to power. I was friends with generals. I was friends with those in power. So it did not matter to me the oppression and injustice that was happening to people. Many times soldiers would pick a girl from a nightclub, take her without her will, and they'll do what they want with that. And I was friends with these guys. But this time it happened to me. So as I was driving back home, a voice inside me was telling me, you deserve it. Because it's been happening to so many people and you did not speak out. So that night, my mind changed. I promised myself that I will henceforth use my music to address injustice. And that is when my music changed from entertainment to edutainment. So since then, I have been in my lyrics speaking up about injustices, about the oppression and other things. That took 10 years. However, in 2017, I realized that it was not just the speaking out that was the solution. I had to do more than that. Bob Marley had spoken up, Tupac had spoken up, and others had spoken up. But again, speaking up is good, but it's not enough. Somebody has to step up to where the policy is made, to where the decision is made. So in 2017, I decided that because of my influence and my connection to the downtrodden people, I thought it was important to get into the parliament of the country so that I don't only speak about the views of my people on the street or on stage, but on the floor of the parliament. I ran for member of parliament. I was running against a government candidate and the main opposition candidate. And courtesy of the music and the lyrics that I've been singing and the connection of the people, I won that election with 80%. I became a member of parliament. I ran under the motto that since the parliament has refused to come to the ghetto will come to the parliament. And when I won, the ghetto had gone to the parliament. So when I got to the parliament, the story changed. That is when the government took serious notice of myself and of music. For a long time, we were just entertainers, hired to entertain the bosses, hired to sing praises to the government. But this time, I was in parliament, sent by the common people. The story was just beginning. I was in parliament for 2 years, and in 2021, there was a presidential election. For so long, General Museveni had always handpicked our candidates, and also they were just the usual politicians that have small or no connection to the common people whatsoever. But this time, one of them had showed up. So I decided to run for president because even when I was in parliament, I realized that in a dictatorship, it is only the president that has power. So I ran for president. I gave General Museveni the hardest run for his money. I was in a presidential campaign where I had to campaign with a bulletproof vest and a ballistic helmet. Like I've said already, many of my friends were shot and killed on the 18th and 19th of November 2020. More than 300 people were killed because I was arrested and people protested on the street. With me, I have a brother called ASHARAF. ASHARAF, come here, please. Kindly take off this helmet. This brother is a journalist, and he was the cameraman that was moving with me on the car. A soldier aimed a gun at me, and lucky enough, the car where I was hit a pothole, and we moved. The bullet that was supposed to get me got my brother on the head. Thank goodness he survived. However, we had to sneak him out of the country to get him here. So that's the short story. Let me get back to the music, the hip-hop, or the Afrobeat, or anything, but let's call it hip-hop today. This music, I realized that it has very, very powerful influence. For a long time, we had been paid to sing praises, to drive the narrative, to divert the minds of the people. But when I realized that actually the power of that music can change the mindset, like I had started, I pushed it harder and I encouraged other friends to push harder. My story can go on and on and on and on. However, this I've been telling everybody that cares to listen, that artists are very influential. However, they can only benefit their people when they do these things. One, reflect the views and thoughts of the people where they come from, because most artists actually come from the downtrodden, come from the ghetto. And also, take it a notch higher and get to the decision-making table. That is what I did, and that is what I continue to do. I praise all the artists that inspire me. Fela Kuti from Nigeria, Miriam Makeba from South Africa, the late Lucky Dube from South Africa. From Jamaica, we have artists like Bob Marley, artists like Sizzla Kalonji, and all the artists that use their voices and their craft to impact minds. We were told by the great Marcus Garvey that one civilization is not complete without its art, the highest form of expression of human intelligence. So I continue to use my art to communicate, and I continue to encourage other artists to discover the power of that art. It has two sides of power, negative power and positive power. Because here in America, it is music that has been largely used to convince us that we are low. It is music that has been used to market derogative words that are used to describe our sisters, and derogative words like the N-words used to describe us. So we can use that art, that hip-hop, that music to transform the way we look at ourselves, and look at ourselves as kings and queens, as princes and as prince and princesses. So we can go on and on and on about the music, but I'll say that's the power that we have, that we've not even used 1%. We can use it, we should use it, and we will use it. Thank you very much for listening to me, ladies and gentlemen, and I appreciate this opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you.